So in the last session, we started discussing about how can we install the Linux operating system through VMware, and we have installed RHEL 8, and I have already uploaded the necessary, like softwares which are required to set up the lab environment. So today we are going to discuss about, today we are going to discuss about how can we install the Postgres database. How can we install Postgres database? So, like, so there are a couple of methods that are available for installing the Postgres database. I'll tell you what are all those. So Postgres installation. Okay. So we can do an yum installation. So yum installation means it will contain only two steps, but only thing that we need to have the internet connectivity to the server on which you wanted to install the Postgres binaries. And one more thing is, whenever you install Postgres binaries through yum installation, by default the Postgres binaries are going to get installed in /user/bin location. So if you want to install the binaries in a predefined and a user defined location, let's say if you want to install the binaries in U01 mount point, it is not possible. The next method that we can have is a source code installation. Okay, what is source code installation, right? Source code, for the source code installation, we don't need any type of network connectivity. And source code installation, we have a feasibility of installing the Postgres binaries wherever we wanted. Instead of installing the binaries in a fixed location, we can install the binaries in our whichever the location you wanted to install. So in this class, we are going to see the source code installation in the, okay, so we are going to see the source code installation. Okay, in this we are going to see the source code installation. So what are the steps that are required for the source code installation, right? So before discussing about the source code installation, so we will divide the entire Postgres installation into two parts. We will divide the entire Postgres installation into two parts. One is binaries installation. Second one is a database initialization. So one is a binaries installation and second one is a database installation. So the entire Postgres database installation is divided into two parts. One is a binaries installation and second one is a database initialization. In the binaries installation, this is the step where we install the software. This is the step where we install the software, which means if as a DBA, if someone asks you to install the Postgres client, right? This is the only step that we will do. Okay, so binaries installation means this is the step where we are going to install the software, and through which user we are going to perform this, through root user we are going to perform this installation. Okay, so I'm making it simpler to understand and to remember. Okay, so the entire Postgres installation is divided into two parts. One is the binaries installation and database initialization. The binaries installation is the step where we will be installing the software, whereas database initialization is where we are going to initialize the database. Initialize the database, which means this is the place where all the necessary configuration files that will be created and all the databases will default databases will comes into picture. So then only once the database initialization is done, we can start, stop and restart the cluster depending upon the requirement. So this we will be seeing it one by one. Okay, so for the source code installation, what are the steps, right? For the source code installation, so first you need to do what? First we need to download the software. So from where you are going to download the software? You are going to download the software from postgresql.org, that will be showing. The second one is copy the software to the server on which you want to install Postgres binaries. Okay, and third one is, so whatever software that you have downloaded, that is a tar file. Tar file means kind of a zip file. Okay, so untar the software. Then we need to call configure is a utility which will, okay, which checks whether all the necessary binaries are necessary libraries that are required to install the postgres binaries are there. So dot slash configure you need to call. So when you simply call dot slash configure, again it is going to install it in the default location only. So to install it in a predefined location, so you need to use hyphen prefix equal to location where you want to install the binaries. And the fifth step is make will make the system ready for the installation. And sixth step is make install. So with this we will be completing the postgres binaries installation. What are the steps? Just download the software from the postgresql.org, copy the software. Okay, copy the software from, copy the software to the server on which you want to install the postgres binaries. Untar the software, call the configure utility with hyphen prefix option. When you give like hyphen prefix option, it is going to install the binaries in a location where you want to store. And the make will make the system ready for the installation, and make install will perform the actual installation of the postgres binaries. So yesterday, if you remember, when we were discussing about, okay, when we were discussing about yesterday, I have installed the Linux machine. My Linux machine is ready, and so just log in as a root user. So take not listed, so root, and that is the reason why you need to remember the admin password, sorry, root password. Okay, if you forget the root password, it will be very difficult for us to, log into the Postgres system. Sorry, log into the Linux server. So the next point is, so the first what we are going to do, first we are going to download the software. Let me go to the, see what I am going to do right now. Let me go to Google. The current version of Postgres is PostgreSQL 17. So we are going to install the PostgreSQL 16. Do we have any more differences? No. So PostgreSQL 16. Just go to the postgresql.org. Okay. Go to download. So what kind of installation that we are going to do? We are going to perform a source code installation. So go to source code. So which version we are going to install? I'm going to install a 16.5. Click on 16.5. These are all the binaries that we have. So I'm planning to download PostgreSQL hyphen 16 hyphen tar.gz. Okay, I have downloaded. So this file I have downloaded. So what is the next challenge that we have? So I have the file with me now. Okay. So from the postgresql.org I have downloaded the file. What is the next challenge? The next challenge is how copying the, what is the next step? Copy the software to the, copy the software to the Linux server. This we can do in two ways. One is VMware tools, and second one is a WinSCP. In real time, we will not be having the VMware tools. We will use a WinSCP. So first thing that but I'll show you both of them. Okay. So let me go to VM. Okay. Just to go to VM, go to settings. Okay. Go to options. Okay. Go to options, then click on shared folders, click on always enable, click on add. So where is my software? My software is located in a downloads folder. Just I'm trying to do what? I'm trying to mount this downloads folders to the Linux machine. 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. This downloads is there in where? OneDrive, documents, downloads, right? So this is the location where I have my Linux software. Sorry, I have my Postgres software downloaded. So just I am adding it. The moment you add it, right, there is an extra mount point that will be created. So it is a kind of what we are trying to do. We are trying to, we are trying to mount the downloads folder of Windows to the Linux machine so that you can directly copy the software to the required location. So now let me open. So go to activities. So this is the terminal through which you can perform the any type of operations in Linux. So just I'm opening the terminal. So when you do like df-h, there will be an extra mount point that got added. What is this? mnt slash hgfs. Go to that cd slash mnt slash hgfs ls. If you see, there is a downloads folder. If you see, this is the one which we have downloaded on Feb 11 2020. Okay. So this is the software that I have downloaded. This is how you can do. Otherwise, the next thing how you can do, you can copy through WinSCP. How can I copy through WinSCP? How can I copy through WinSCP, right? So for that, first of all, you need to find out the IP address of your machine. What is the IP? How can we find out the IP address? If config, just go to there. Here, does it showing anything? No. So you need to as you have installed the Linux machine recently, you need to change some things. Okay, just go to the cd slash. Do we really need to know all these steps? What I'm trying to explain, it's not required, because in real time the Linux server connectivity, network, and everything will be in place. Okay, as a DBA, we don't take care of all these things. If you face any issues, if you are not able to connect to the server and all, just simply we will raise a request with the Linux team, so that Linux team will comes into picture and check what is happening. Okay, now so slash etc sysconfig, go to this location, sysconfig network hyphen scripts ls. So open this file. So here, what is the IP? 192.168.29. I'm making it as a 125. Okay. So what is on boot equal to? No, just you need to make it on boot equal to yes. Why are we doing this? Even I don't know why are we doing this, because we are not the ones who is taking care of this networking part in Linux, but to show the IP address, you need to do this. Once this is done, you need to restart your network services. How can you restart your network services? Systemctl restart network manager. 1 minute. Systemctl restart network manager. Okay. Now if config, what is the IP address? It is showing now 192.168.29.125. So now, if you see, you must be able to ping your IP address from your Windows machine. So ping 192.168.29.125. See, you are able to ping it. So which means, so where I have installed my WinSCP is in my Windows. Just go to WinSCP. Okay, just go to WinSCP and you know try to establish a connection. Okay, try to establish a connection. So what is the IP? What is the address? 192.168.29.125. Username is root, password is admin123. So why I am showing you this method instead of the shared folders? Yes, we can copy through shared folders as well, but I don't want to do that because in real time we don't use this shared folder options to copy the software because we don't have the control over the VM. Okay, we don't have the control over the VM. So what we need to do, we need to follow a traditional method which is a WinSCP to copy the files from Windows to the Linux machine. So what I'm trying to do, right? So whatever the mount points that I have created during the installation, this is U02, U01, and all those things are there, right? Now let me go to U01 and let me create one directory called software. So this is the location where I wanted to copy the software, what are the software that I have downloaded. So so I have given the IP address of my Windows Linux machine, which is 192.168.29.125, and I gave I am trying to log in as a root user, and I am using a password called whatever the root password that is there, I am using it. So what I'm trying to do, this WinSCP is there in my Windows machine. I'm trying to copy the software from Windows to Linux using WinSCP tool. So just click on login. 1 minute. I gave a wrong password, I guess. Now it is trying to establish the connectivity between my Windows to Linux. Okay. Yes, the connectivity has been established. Now, what we need to do, right? Where is my software? My software is in downloads. So here, just go to the downloads folder. Okay, let me wait. Where is the downloads folder? Yeah. So this is the downloads folder. And click on, see this is the one which we have downloaded today. Feb 12 February 2022. This is the which I have downloaded. So this I am trying to copy from Windows to my Linux machine. My Linux machine where I wanted to copy, I have created a folder under U01. Under U01 I have created a folder called software. Just you can drop drag and drop. So the software from the Windows machine is copied to my Linux machine. And one more thing is, in real time, we will be not having access directly to the VM like how I have connected here. So I may or may not be able to connect in real time. So we will use a tool called putty to connect to the databases. So where I have, what is the IP address of my Linux machine where I wanted to install the binaries? The IP address is 192.168.29.125. This is the IP address of the server where I want to install my binaries. So I am trying to use a putty to connect to that. So okay. So through which user I am logging in? Root user I am logging in. Yeah. What is the password? Admin123 is the password. That's okay. So now where I have copied? I have copied the location to cd/u01/software. So this is the location where I have copied the software to my Linux machine. Don't get confused. Okay. I used putty to connect to my Linux machine instead of directly going here and connecting here and doing the work here. I'm not doing that. Just I'm trying to use putty to connect to my Linux machine. So when you do if config, see this is the IP address of my Linux machine, right? So I have the software downloaded. What is the next step? You need to untar it. Untar it means simply it is nothing but unzipping the software. So tar-xvf, I'm trying to untar the file. I'm not doing any installation so far. Just I'm trying to unzip the file whatever which I have downloaded from the Postgresql.org. Yes, I have untarred. The moment you untar, it is going to create a directory. Just to go to this directory, cd. Cd means what is the command? Cd is a Linux command to change the directories. Just go to this location. and when you do ls you will be seeing a configure utility. So you need to call this configure utility. So when you simply call the configure utility, it is going to, it is going to install the binaries in a which location. It is going to install the binaries in a default location, which I don't want to do that. I wanted to install the binaries in a specific location. So I if you want to, okay, if you want to install the binaries in a specific location, as I said, then we need to call a hyphen hyphen prefix, and you need to provide the location. But did we create the locations? No, we have not created the location. So now let me go and create the locations. Just I am open, I am connecting to my Linux machine in another session as well, in a duplicate session. Let me log in as a root. So I logged in here. So before creating the necessary locations, I'll show you an idea how we are going to install the binaries. Okay, 1 minute. What happened to this? 1 minute. My system is, yeah. So I want to install the binaries. I wanted to install the binaries in slash u01, and I want to create this data directory in slash u02. So I'm separating the binaries and data directory. So where I want it to slash u01 Postgres software location soft LOC slash what is the version pgv16. This is the location where I want to install my binaries, and see slash u02. What is data directory, that we'll be seeing it in the next class. Okay, u02 Postgres data underscore directory. This is the location where I wanted to create my data directory. Now let me go and create these two. Okay, now let me go and create these two things. Okay, so cd slash u01. Here I am going to create the directories mkdir. Mkdir is used to create the directories mkdir hyphen p slash u01 postgres soft LOC software location pgv16. This is the location where I wanted to create my binaries. So where I wanted to keep the data directory u02 postgres slash data underscore dir. This is the location keep my where I wanted to keep my what Postgres data directory. So now I have created the necessary directory. So from the root user, remember always, so you have to install the Postgres binaries from, you know root user only. So dot slash configure hyphen hyphen prefix equal to slash u01 Postgres softlock pgv16. This is the location where I want to install my binaries. Just provide this, then it will try to check whether all the necessary libraries that are required to install the Postgres binaries are there or not. If something is there, if something is not there, then it will throw an error. If you see here, there is a library hyphen hyphen without hyphen ICU, which is required for the Postgres installation, but that is not there. So what it is throwing an error? It thrown an error stating hyphen hyphen without hyphen ICU library is not there. So that what we, and it is throwing a hint that we can disable this by using hyphen hyphen without hyphen ICU. So just we are telling the system not to consider that without hyphen ICU option. So whichever the libraries that are there, you can either install or you can ignore depending upon the requirement. And one more library also not there. So hyphen hyphen without hyphen read line. So now it is checking whether all the required libraries for installing the Postgres is there or not. If something is not there, it will throw an error. If everything is there, it will be successful. Yeah, it is successful. So have we done anything? So let me go and check the location where we tried to install the software. Where I tried to install the software U01 Postgres Softlock PGB16. Do you see anything here? You don't see anything because it has done nothing. Just it was checking whether requested libraries are there or not. So the what is the next command? The next command is a make. What make will do? Make is a command which will perform the which makes the system ready for the installation. So which means here also it's not going to install anything, just it will make the system ready for the installation. Just simply click on make and you had to wait for 15 to 20 minutes because the make will take like more than 20 minutes to complete its actions. Once it is done, we are going to do a make install. Okay, yeah, it will take like 20 minutes of time. Meanwhile, do you have any doubts so far? Meanwhile, let it run in the background. Anyone has any doubts? Yeah. If you see the make is completed, so as I said, like though the make is completed, you won't see anything here. So what is this location? This is the location where we were trying to install the binaries. So make will make the system ready for the installation. Okay, make will make the system ready for the installation. So what, which performs the actual installation? Make install will perform the actual installation. The moment you give make install, you would start seeing some files are getting created in this location. This is the location where we wanted to install the binaries. See, so the make install is a command which performs the actual installation of the Postgres cluster. Okay, so let the make install gets completed so that. Yes. Make install also done. So the moment the make install completed on the software binaries location, you would be seeing four files, four directories. One is a bin directory, second one is a include directory, lib and shares. So bin is the location where you are going to have your binaries. Let me go to the bin location and check what is there. So we have create DB to create the database, pgctl to start the cluster, pgdump to take the backup, and PSQL is used to connect to the database. If you remember when we were discussing about the general purpose architecture, so we discussed that PSQL is a utility or command line interface which is used to connect to the Postgres cluster. So with these steps, what we have done, we have completed the binaries installation. So next, what we need to do, what is the next step? So if you remember, we divided this entire Postgres installation into two parts. One is a binaries installation, and the second one is a database initialization. Second one is a database initialization. 1 minute. So we are done with the binaries installation. So through which user we have to perform this binaries installation? Root user. And the database initialization you need to perform through a Postgres user. You need to perform through a Postgres user. So now let me go and check the binaries in. So now let me try starting the database initialization. So to perform the database initialization, so what is the user that we are going to use? We are going to use the Postgres user, right? We are going to use what? The Postgres user. So the first step is we need to create the data directory. So data directory is a location where you want to install your binaries. Okay, sorry, where you want to create your necessary configuration files, right? So already we have created. What is the location? cd/u02 postgres data directory, right? So now you need to change. So who is the owner for this directory? If you go and check who is the owner for this directory, root is the owner. So you need to change the ownership. CHOWN-R, change ownership from Postgres colon Postgres slash U02 Postgres data directory. Okay. So Postgres user is not there. So now let me add the Postgres user. User add Postgres. This is the command to add the Postgres user. So we are creating a user called Postgres in our system. So now let me change the password for the Postgres user. How can we change PSSWD username? So then it will ask you for the password. I gave you the password. Now what I'm trying to do, now I'm trying to change the ownership. CHOWN-R username Postgres, and group name is also a Postgres slash U02 Postgres data directory. I changed it. So likewise, you need to change the ownership for the binaries location as well. What is the binaries location? U01 Postgres softlock PGV16. For this location also you need to change the ownership from root to the Postgres user. So if you check here, previously it was a root user. Now let us check who is the owner for this. See, the owner for the data directory is a Postgres user. Okay, so we have changed the ownership. The next thing that we need to do, right, we need to make this Postgres user as a super user. How can we do that? How can we make any user as a super user? So there is a file called sudo vers. Okay, there is a file called sudo vars. So in this location you need to add one entry so that the Postgres user will become a super user, means he will be having lot of privileges. So slash etc slash sudo vars. Okay, so just calm down there. So we need to add one entry to make any user as a super user. Likewise, see, allow root to run any commands. Likewise, if you want the Postgres to run any commands, then Postgres all equal to all space all. So now this makes Postgres user as a super user. Okay, okay, now this is done. So what I have done, I have created a Postgres user, I have created the necessary directories and changed the ownership as well, and I made Postgres user as a super user. So now the last step is we need to perform the database initialization. So how we are going to perform the database initialization? Before discussing about how we are going to perform the database initialization, first of all we are going to see what is database initialization. So database initialization is a step. Okay, database initialization is a step. Database initialization is a step through which we are going to create the necessary configuration files that are required run the Postgres cluster. So what is database initialization? Database initialization is a step, okay, which is required to run the which are required to create the necessary configuration files that are required to run the Postgres cluster. uh, the data, what is data directory? Data directory is a place where we will be having all these configuration files. Now you got the point, right? What is data directory? Data directory is a location where we have all the necessary configuration files that are required to run the Postgres cluster. So how we are going to perform this database initialization? We are going to perform this database initialization through initdb utility. So where this initdb utility is there, it is there in the binaries location. It is there in the binaries location. Okay, now the last step is we are going to perform the database initialization, and this we have to do it through Postgres user. So let me log in as a Postgres user, su-postgres. Now where is this initdb utility? It is there in the Postgres binaries location, u01 Postgres softlog pgv16, and go to bin location. If you see ls init db, so it is there. So now you have to call init db, okay, dot slash init db hyphen capital D slash u02 Postgres data directory. This is the location where you want to create your data directory. So init, when you call the init db with hyphen capital D option, it is going to create all the necessary configuration files in the all the configuration file in this location. So before proceeding with this, shall we go and check what are all the files that we have in the u02 location? Cd slash u02 Postgres data directory ls, it is empty now. If you see pwd ls, it is empty now. Now what we are trying to do, we are trying to do a initdb. See, now this is done. So with this, if you see here, database initialization is done. With this, we have completed the Postgres binaries installation. As I said, so we were discussing about the pg underscore hpa.conf, postgresql.conf, pg underscore val location, and we were discussing about the pg underscore val location and postgresql.conf. So these are all the configuration files that got created during the database initialization step. With this, we have completed the Postgres installation. Tomorrow, we are going to see the cluster operations. Now, how can we check whether the Postgres is running or not? ps-eaf grep Postgres. See, it's not running. So how can you start your Postgres cluster? How can you stop? How can we restart? And all those things we will be seeing it in the tomorrow's class. Okay. So if anyone is new to the Linux, I want you guys to practice the basic Linux commands. What is copy command? What is make directory? What is change directory? What is ls? How can we create a directory? How can we move from one directory to another directory? And all those commands, the very basic commands. If you spend like 1 to 2 hours of time, you will come to know about all these things. Okay, there is no much advanced topics are not required to perform the Postgres database administration, but you need to know about the basic commands of the Linux. So with this, we have concluded the session for Postgres database installation. In the next class, we are going to check what are all the cluster operations that we have, and we are also going to see how can we connect to the Postgres database as well. Okay, that's it for today, and we'll connect tomorrow again. Thank you. Any doubts so far?
No.
Okay, I will be uploading this video. Just go through that and try to install it. Okay, thank you. Bye.